Good afternoon, Senior 2 students. Let's start our final revision for this term. Question 1. Which diagram correctly shows the electronegativity of elements sodium, magnesium, aluminium, and silicon plotted against the first ionization energy? You have to know that the four elements are lying in the same period, which is period 3. And we have learned that by increasing the atomic number in the same period, the electronegativity and the ionization energy will increase. So, the correct choice will be graph number 1. By increasing the atomic number, both electronegativity and first ionization energy increase. Which oxide will produce the solution with the highest pH when it is mixed with water? The solution with highest pH is the most alkaline solution. Alkaline solutions are produced by basic oxides, metal oxides. So we can exclude D and B because they are non-metal oxides. We have two choices left, A and C. We have learned that aluminium oxide is an amphoteric oxide, so we can exclude also A. The correct choice will be sodium oxide. Which of the following values represent an electron in one of 5F sublevels? We have here the three choices starting with 5 because we are in the principal energy level 5. Let's move to the subsidiary quantum number of F equal 3. So we can exclude the choice C because here L equal 4 and it's not correct. After that, you have to look at the magnetic quantum number. The correct values of magnetic quantum number ranges from positive L to negative L, from positive 3 until negative 3. Of course, we can exclude the choice A because we have here positive 4, so the correct choice will be B. What is the largest number of electrons can be found in the same atom and have the two quantum numbers n equal 4 and L equal 1 are in principal energy level 4. L equal 1 stands for sublevel P and sublevel P occupied with 6 electrons. So the largest number of electrons that have the two quantum numbers n equal 4 and L equal 1 equals 6 electrons. The electron which has 4 quantum numbers n equal 4, L equal 3, Ml equal positive 2 and Ms positive half is found in sublevel dots. Of course, n equal 4 we are in the 4th energy level. L equal 3, so we have to search in the choices for F sublevel. Shown on the graph, relative values of the first ionization energies of 4 elements that have consecutive atomic numbers. One of the elements react with hydrogen to form a covalent compound with formula HX. Which element could be X? We have to suppose the atomic number of these 4 elements from our minds, and to make sense, the highest element in the ionization energy, it will be a noble gas. The element before the noble gas will be an element of group 7A, which are characterized by high ionization energies. After the noble gas, we have here an element from group 1A, then we have an element from group 2A. Of course, the element that will form a covalent compound with hydrogen forming the chemical formula HX will be element A. The element radon, francium and radium have proton numbers 86, 87 and 88 respectively. What is the order of their first ionization energies? Of course, radon is a noble gas that has the highest value of ionization energy. After that, we have francium from group 1A, which are characterized by low ionization energies. Then we have radium, belongs to group 2A, and the correct choice will be francium. Group 1A has the least ionization energy, then radium, and the highest one will be radon. The graph below shows the variation of the first ionization energy with the number of protons of some elements. Which statement is correct? Element Q and Y are in the same period in the periodic table. Of course, this statement is not correct because from the graph they are characterized by the same property, which is high ionization energy. So they can belong to the same group, not to the same period. The general increase from R to Y due to increasing the atomic radius. Let's look at R and Y. By increasing the atomic number in the same period, the atomic radius decrease, not increase. So the statement B is also incorrect. Let's move to statement C. The small decrease between elements S and T due to decreased shielding. And this statement is also not correct, because in moving in the same period, the shielding effect will not decrease because we have the same number of energy levels. So the statement is not correct. Let's move to the last choice, D. The small decrease between V and W due to the repulsion between paired electrons. We have here V and W. Of course, W has high number of electrons, higher number of electrons than V, and by increasing the atomic number, the number of paired electrons increase, and the repulsion force between the electrons also will increase. The correct choice here will be D. The first ionization energies of 20 successive elements in the periodic table are represented in the graph. The letters are given are not the normal symbols for these elements. Which statements about this graph are correct? So we have to choose more than one statement. Number 1, elements B, J, and R are in group 0 of the periodic table. Let's look at these 3 elements, B, J, and R. We can observe that they have the highest values of ionization energy, so they belong to group 0. The first statement is correct. Let's move to the second statement. Atoms of element D and L contain 2 electrons in their outer shell. Let's look at D and L. Let's count. Suppose we start from 1, 2, 3, 4. So D has 4 electrons and its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2. Its outer energy shell contain 2 electrons. Let's complete counting. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Element L contain 12 electrons. Its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Also, it has 2 electrons in the outer shell. The second statement is also correct. Let's move to the third statement. Atoms of element J and O contain half-filled p subshell. Let's complete counting. We have here D equal 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's make the electronic configuration. It will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So this statement about element G is correct. It has half-filled p subshell. Let's move to element O. Complete counting. After 7 we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Element O, its atomic number is 15 and the electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. It also has half-filled B subshell. So the 3 statements are correct. Carbon and nitrogen are adjacent in the periodic table. Which properties do they both have? Number 1, there is an empty 2p orbital in one atom of the element. Let's make the electronic configuration to make sure of that. We have here carbon. Its electronic configuration ends with 2b2. It has one empty p orbital. But in case of nitrogen, all p orbitals contain one electron and p sublevel have filled with electrons. So the first statement is not correct about both of them. The second statement, the principal quantum number of the highest occupied orbital is 2. Of course, this statement is right because we have here the highest quantum number equals 2. Statement 3, they form compounds in which their atoms form bonds with 4 other atoms. Let's take a look. This statement is correct. We can see here carbon and nitrogen are bonded with 4 other atoms. The correct choice here 2 and 3. The value of the second ionization energy of calcium is 1150 kilojoule per mole. Which equation correctly represents this statement? The second ionization energy means we have a positive ion with one positive charge and it will change into positive ion with 2 positive charges. So we can exclude choice A and D. We have 2 choices, B and C. Which one is correct? Both of them, the equation is correct, but we will choose B because ionization energy always take positive value. The period 4 elements gallium, germanium, arsenic, and selenium are the elements below aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, and sulfur in the periodic table, a portion of which is shown below. We have here a small part from period 3 and period 4. The properties of each period 4 elements resemble those of period 3 elements directly above it. Which period 4 elements form oxides that dissolve in water to give an acid solution? Arsenic, germanium, and gallium, the 3 elements are reacting with oxygen forming amphoteric oxides. So the only correct choice here is selenium, which form an oxide dissolve in water forming acidic solution. The oxides barium oxide, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and strontium oxide all produce alkaline solutions when added to water. Which oxide produce the saturated solution with highest pH? We have mentioned before, the solution of higher pH is the most alkaline solution. Of course, you have to know that all of these elements belong to the same group, which is 2A. The strongest metal will form the most powerful basic oxide and it will dissolve in water, giving the most alkaline solution. The strongest metal here is the metal that has the largest atomic radius, and the correct choice will be barium oxide because it has the largest atomic radius. It is the strongest one in group 2A and it will dissolve in water, giving the most highest pH solution. Why is the ionic radius of chloride ion larger than the ionic radius of sodium ion? Let's read the choices and choose the correct one. Number A, chloride ion has one more occupied electron shell than sodium ion. Of course, this choice is the correct one because chloride ion has 3 completely filled energy levels, but in case of sodium we have only 2 energy levels. Which diagram shows the variation of the metallic radius of group 1 elements lithium, sodium, potassium, and rubidium by increasing the atomic number? We have known that by increasing the atomic number in the same group, the metallic radius will increase. So the correct choice will be graph A. Which oxide, when mixed with water, will produce the solution of the lowest pH? The solution of the lowest pH is the most acidic solution. So we have to exclude sodium oxide and silicon oxide. We have here two non-metal oxides, phosphorus pentaoxide and carbon dioxide, and the strongest between these two is phosphorus pentaoxide. Which equation represents the second ionization energy of an element X? The second ionization energy means that we have a positive ion with one positive charge will change into a positive ion with two positive charges. So the correct choice will be B. Which factor helps to explain why the first ionization energies of group 1 elements decreases from lithium to sodium to potassium to rubidium? Let's read the choices. The nuclear charge of elements increase. The outer electron is in S subshell. The repulsion between the spin-paired electrons increase. The shielding effect of the inner shells increase. Of course, the correct choice will be the last one, because as we move from up to down in the same group, the number of energy levels filled with electrons will increase, and this will increase the shielding effect and decrease the effective nuclear charge, so it will be easier to lose the valence electron and the first ionization energy will decrease. Why does aluminium oxide dissolve in sodium hydroxide solution? The correct choice will be aluminium oxide is an amphoteric oxide, so it can behave as an acid and react with alkaline solution like sodium hydroxide to give salt and water. In an experiment, 0.1 gram samples of sodium oxide, magnesium oxide, phosphorus pentaoxide, and sulfur dioxide are added to separate 100 cubic centimeter volumes of water. For which oxide is the resulting mixture most alkaline? Alkaline solutions, so we can exclude non-metal oxides like phosphorus pentaoxide and sulfur dioxide. And we have two choices here. Which metal oxide will produce the most alkaline solution? Of course, sodium oxide. In which pair is the radius of the second atom greater than the radius of the first atom? The first choice, sodium and magnesium, by moving from the left to the right, the atomic radius decrease. So the choice A is not correct. The second one, calcium and strontium are in the same group, but strontium has larger atomic radius, so the second one is not correct. Phosphorus and nitrogen lying also in the same group, but phosphorus has higher atomic radius than nitrogen. The last and the correct one, chlorine and bromine, because they are lying in the same group. Bromine has higher atomic number, the atomic radius will increase. What is the atomic number of the atom whose orbitals contain 3 unpaired electrons? Let's try the 4 choices to know the correct one. Starting with the first choice, the electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So we have here 1 unpaired electron. The same idea for the second choice. We have here the last sublevel contain also 1 unpaired electron. In case of 15, we have here 3p3, 3 unpaired electrons. So the correct choice will be C. 3 successive elements in the periodic table have the first ionization energies which have the pattern shown in the diagram. What could be the first element of this sequence? Let's suppose that the highest element is a noble gas and the element we start with is an element from 7A or halogens group, and the last one is an element from group 1A. So we start with an element from 7A, then noble gas, then the ionization energy will decrease as shown in the diagram because we start with group in 1A, which are characterized by low ionization energies. So the logic sequence or the first element of this sequence will be fluorine. Which of the following statements is incorrect? The line spectrum of hydrogen atom is formed of inseparable colors. Of course, the first statement is incorrect because the line spectrum of hydrogen separated with dark areas. When a photon of light with wavelength 486 nanometer transfers from an electron in the principal energy level n equal 4 in hydrogen atom, this electron transfers to the principal level dots. Of course, we have to know that 486 nanometer belongs to the range of visible light, and when an electron returns back to an energy level emitting visible light, it belongs to Balmer's series and it will return to energy level n equals 2. The gold foil experiment, which is carried out in Rutherford's lab, confirmed Thomson theory, is a base for Dalton's theory, led to discovering the nucleus, used in it a source of beta particles. Of course, the correct choice will be C because this experiment let us know that we have a dense particle at the center of the atom called nucleus. The failure of the atomic model of Rutherford is used to that it didn't explain dots. Rutherford atomic model failed to explain the nature of movement of the electrons around the nucleus. The atomic number of an element whose electronic configuration ends by 3d2. Let's make the electronic configuration and count the electrons to know the atomic number of this element. By making the electronic configuration and counting all electrons, we can find that the atomic number equals 22. Number of electrons which are present in an element atom that contain 5 energy sublevels filled with electrons. Let's make the electronic configuration and count the electrons like the previous example. We have here 5 completely filled sublevels, and by counting the electrons in all of them, we can find that the atomic number equals 18. Sodium and sulfur react together to form sodium sulfide. How do the atomic radius and the ionic radius of sodium compare to those of sulfur? In case of atomic radius, sodium metal has larger atomic radius than sulfur, but in case of ionic radius, sodium positive ion will have a smaller ionic radius than sulfur. So the correct choice will be this. Thanks for listening, Senior 2.